Welcome to the Marvel Cinematic University podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Canton III, and we are here to talk some Spider-Noir, the Amazon Prime series, 8 episodes, starring Nicolas Cage as Ben Reilly, or maybe another name. We'll get into that a little bit later. But we're also here happy to get into patreon.com/MCUniversityPod. You get our bonus content, such as our wonderful Discord, such as some wrestling. I did do something on Clash in Italy over the weekend. Got into some mailbag stuff. I love our wrestling channel. It's always great to discuss the art of professional wrestling and all the funkiness that's going on in the WWE world. And also, of course, we always have the subscriber mailbag. I promise we are endeavoring for Rush Hour. There will be 2 Rush Hour episodes this month, and we'll get into that as well. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. And with that being said, let me introduce the super producer, Jake Christie. Jake, how are you?
I'm doing well. Excited to talk about this. Excited to be back on the main feed. It's been like 2 weeks, Not a ton of new stuff's coming out, but Spider-Noir came at the right time. And we don't cover everything that's non-MCU, but we had to do this.
Yeah, I think but I mean, we're gonna get into it in a second. But I just to say off the top, um, specifically as Jake mentioned, when you think about stuff that you kind of look forward to, I was looking forward to seeing what this would be, and I was pleasantly pleased with what I got. But we'll get to that in a second because I did want to throw some Doomsday news and notes. This week was what you would call I can't call it a pump fake by Marvel because I feel like the internet kind of fell for what the surprise was. The Russos were in London doing some promotion for Doomsday, and it turned out to be a coffee shop with a whole bunch of Doctor Doom stuff on it.
I think a piece of context I think a lot of people who were just half paying attention to it missed is that the original quote about like there being a thing dropping out or whatever at 10 a.m. whatever it was, the specifics. That was something that Joe Russo said to a specific room of people. That was not a thing to news outlets. And so people were like, they were teasing it just as a coffee thing. It's like, no. He was telling a group of like 100 people that something would happen the next day. And that was relevant to them because they were there.
Right, exactly. So obviously that spread like wildfire, and it's so funny. It's very easy these days to kind of just fall for the stuff like that and kind of get like lost in the sauce because of course people are excited to see any type of footage of Avengers Doomsday. But as I presume, San Diego Comic-Con seems like the place that this is going to happen. So guys, just wait another month and you'll get it then. But as the Russos were in London, they screened Infinity War and Endgame, and Robert Downey Jr. happened to be there. So there was so Downey spoke about the coming back and the whole Doctor Doom of it all, and he says, "quote What we've been laboring so hard and long over the past year is we can't beat it, and we can't stand on the shoulders of these 2 giants of Infinity War and Endgame. So we're literally zeroing out the board. We're going to try and earn your trust and respect all over again. And with the likes of these fellas," referring to the Russos, "I think we have a pretty good shot." What do you make of those statements? It's interesting.
I mean, I think it's mostly, and I won't say this derisively, I think it's mostly actor bullshit. Like, I think just to say, honestly. I think a lot of people are taking it very literally, like, does that mean they're gonna, like, kill everyone off? Or, like, no. Like, he's saying that because I think it's always something to keep in mind whenever there is a thing said in a promotional setting.
Mm-hmm.
If you're someone who is see in every MCU movie at like in the afternoon on Thursday type person, you are not the target audience of it because you're already going to see the movie. And so I think they clearly know that there's a risk of people either being like, why do they keep making these after Endgame? Or do I have to have seen everything since Endgame in order to see this new one? I think that those are the 2 big problems that their market research is probably telling them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I understand exactly why he's saying this, and I think that if you don't take it literally, I think it is a good thing for him and the Russos to keep in mind, because if you don't take it literally, what he's saying is like, for a long time we were coasting on, we made money on these movies because people saw them because they're going to see every one of them. We made this movie that is self-justifying to see. Now, Do I know if that's true? I have no idea. But I saw a lot of reactions to it, and I'm like, you guys have never really listened to actors talk about regular movies before, because they say shit like this all the time. And I appreciate that he's saying it because it means that they're taking their task seriously.
And with that being said, the Joe Russo adds to said quote, "This is starting over from scratch. We want to make sure everybody feels like this isn't leaning on anything from the past." Which, obviously, a lot of the talk of Phase Four on has been the lack thereof of the cohesiveness of the newer characters in this universe, and using Doomsday to kind of bring back all of the old guard and put them together with the new guard and see what how that all works. It like, with all that being said, Avengers Endgame is re-releasing in theaters in September, and it was said that they're adding stuff to the movie that is a kind of follow into or lead into Doomsday as well. So I don't know. I feel like it's mixed messaging in a way.
Yeah, I think that like I think it's mixed messaging, and also I think I always like to point out is that with a couple exceptions, like I would say like Wanda's plot line in Multiverse of Madness,
Yeah,
and that's probably it. I think that like
and the Marvels.
and yes, the Marvels and Wanda's plotline in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah,
The rumors of the MCU requiring you to have seen everything before going into a movie are always greatly exaggerated. Like I think that yeah, they are making the movie so that they're not leaning on the other stuff because you have to make a movie like that. Like it once again, these are all the things that I would expect them to say. Nothing that they said here is that surprising to me because
hmm
I understand. And I'm not trying to talk down to people who didn't took it this way. I mean, I am. People are like, "Does that mean they're going to police?" Like, yeah, if police start over, like, I am talking a little bit down to them. But it's just like, yeah, they have to make a movie that stands on its own 2 feet because they know that it's not 2019 anymore, and they don't have just the inertia of people seeing everything that the MCU puts out. It's like, yeah, this is what they're going to say.
Right. Yeah, I would tend to agree with you there. It'll definitely be interesting to see the reception next month when this trailer comes out to the masses. I know a lot of people were excited when they saw it at CinemaCon, and we look forward as Spider-Man Brand New Day is now essentially 7.5 weeks away. So like we're getting close to that time too. So there's a lot of Marvel stuff headed.
You see Tom Holland's interview with Amy Poehler.
Not all of it. I saw some quotes.
You see that he got Jacob Battle on a rolly. Got him a roll.
Really?
Yep, yep. I mean, that's
Wow.
what it made me think of, and this is it reminded me of when like a running back has a great season, he gets his offensive line Rolexes.
Yo, Tom is a special dude. Like there's been a lot of quotes from him this week too. Just quickly to say, as far as him literally telling Sony like, "Yo, get your shit together, guys," and that takes a lot when you have the gravitas and the power at that point. Considering what he's done with the Spider-Man character, it just makes it easier to throw your weight around because people know that you're the moneymaker at this point. So it's cool that he's actually telling them, "Hey, man, we need to make some good stuff."
Yeah. Yes, that it was one of those things where I'm glad he said it, and I'm looking forward to the movie. But it also gave like the most annoying anti-MCU people online a field day, and so that made me a little mad.
Of course, yeah. It's always something
Yeah.
with that. But Spider Noir, the first thing I wanted to ask you, just generally speaking, because Teach had brought something up in the chat yesterday or the day before in regards to how people receive this series, and how did you receive it? Like with the aesthetic, the
Yeah.
black and white, and all of that stuff. How did you receive it?
So I'll just say, even more so than previously, I just am not connected really at all to the comic book nerd sphere reactions that much. Like I don't, especially if it's a thing that we're gonna pod about. I make sure to consume no content about it beforehand.
Hmm.
And even afterwards, like I just kind of get pissed off at a lot of this stuff too. So I just don't listen to them. So I was not aware that people were not receiving it that well. I thought that aesthetically it was really awesome. Like I remember when the show was announced, I rolled my eyes because I'm like, okay, Nick Cage is now in a place where he's phoning in some stuff, and are they just gonna call it Spider Noir and it's just like a regular superhero show that is like has maybe some black and white stuff? And while yes, it's not like a 1-to-1 40s noir movie. They did a lot more of that shit than I thought they were going to.
Hmm.
And I think that they got a lot of the style and the essence of it. And I think that Nick Cage did not half-ass this at all. And I think that
No.
that's the thing that makes the show work. And I think that if people are bumping on it is because they don't understand Nick Cage as an actor, don't understand that
Yeah,
like
that's
I mean,
what it is.
I've always been of the opinion I've been very consistent. Nick Cage is a great actor. He's always been a great actor. There's never been a time where he's not been a great actor. Just because the whole thing is, just because people have been lulled into thinking that naturalism is the only acceptable way to act does not mean that Nicolas Cage doing impressionistic performances makes it bad. I'm just gonna put my marker down there. And I think that this is
Hmm.
the perfect role for his expressionistic acting, because of course he's acting over the top and acting in an effective manner, because back in like during the noir days, it was all expressionistic. They weren't trying to act like real people. They were trying to get stuff across.
Yeah.
And he just fully communicates this character in a way where, like, is Ben Riley a real guy? No. But is he. Do I feel his emotions? Am I on the roller coaster with him? Absolutely. I thought he really killed it, and I was really surprised that it's like he gave one of the better late career performances I've seen him give in a fucking Amazon Spider-Man show. It's awesome.
He is the conduit and the alpha and omega to everybody else in that show, because what I feel like everybody went for it the same way. Like every single character who appears on that show, that same aesthetic that you're discussing, everybody is doing the same thing. So it just adds to what he's doing. And I think it just made for, and it has to, honestly, it has to be that way for it to work. And that's why I feel like it worked. Cuz even with the storyline of the experiments and it gets a little serious and stuff like that, there's still a little of the goofy that still remains, and they just found a way, I felt, to make everything feel connective, like connective tissue, in the sense that it all works. And you can laugh, and then you can also be like, damn, that's a pretty serious issue that Ben Riley goes through. So like all of that to me fits in a way that made for a very exciting binge. Like I
Yeah.
like watching through these episodes and going through the 8. I was like, oh, by the time like you gain some steam on it, you're like, oh, I'm waiting to see what happens next, because it's a very engaging story, I will say.
And the fact that there just was the commitment to the aesthetic and to the tone, like I
Hmm.
really think that if you're willing to give yourself over to it and accept it, it was really rewarding because like you said, everyone gave it. I would say that, and we'll get to it. I would say there's one performance in it that I think doesn't work, but other than that, I think almost
Hmm.
everyone in it really gets it and is playing. I think at like I said, it's not like they're doing a perfect impression of like a 40s movie. Nor do I really want them to because it's
Right.
not that. Um, but they're getting at the aesthetics, and it's not like once again, it's also not shot like a 40s movie. There are a lot of modern flourishes, what have you, but it also does have some like awesome split diopter shots. It has some awesome, the lighting, what have you. Obviously, we both I think watched it in black and white, right?
Yeah, I watched. I What I did was I went back and forth. I did 2 episodes black and white. I did
Mm.
2 episodes in color. I did 2 episodes in. I actually I went 2, 4, and the final 2 in black and white.
I really loved it in black and white because I felt like it I think a big thing is it made all of the tonal choices with the acting much easier to
Hmm.
take because it felt at home. And I felt like it. There just was a lot more intentionality and thought into the design of the show that
Hmm.
I think was necessary. Because once again, I think the reason why I was kind of not jumping for joy when it was announced, I'm like, this
Hmm.
might be fine, is because like I think if you half-ass this, it is dumb.
It could be bad. Yeah, it
Yeah,
could be really bad. Yeah, I agree.
especially because the thing about the show that I think I haven't seen a lot of people talk about, but I saw a couple people mention on Twitter is that like yes, Ben Riley is supposed to be like a washed up guy, but he's a
Hmm.
washed up guy in the 30s. He's supposed to be in like his mid 40s. Nick Cage is a full 20 years really too old to be playing this character. That was a big thing. I'm like, he just like I feel like his storyline, he's
Yeah,
like he served in World War One. Like this guy, he's definitely. But
yeah.
I think once again, a big thing about movies like the 40s, what have you, it was a lot of 60-year-olds playing 45-year-olds, and so it really all worked.
It did, yeah, it did. It is interesting as it goes on, and you get into the army backstory and all of that stuff, where you're like, huh, does this really work? But Cage found a way to make it work in a way where it didn't really bother me at all in any
No,
type
not
of
at all.
in any particular way. I want to get into some of the characters. Like, who would you say? Like, for me, there's two. Briley's secretary, I absolutely adore
Hmm.
her,
Hmm.
and Brendan Gleeson, Silvermane. Man,
I mean,
he's fantastic.
he's great. My MVP though, honestly, and I said it when Sinners was out, and people are like, just from like before we get to the acting, people were
Yeah, yeah,
posting like the things. It was correctly. It was Jamie Lawson, Haley Steinfeld, Mumi Musako being like the beautiful women of Sinners, and I'm like, whoa, 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 wait. I understand she lets the vampires in, but let's not. Lee Jun Lee is also an absolutely gorgeous and talented woman, and I think she really got the tone really well, and I think her performance is really important to me because she's the one who probably plays it the most modern.
yeah.
Because I think if she plays it too classical, it's like if she plays it too realistically as a woman in the 30s, especially as an Asian woman in the 30s, like
Yeah,
her,
she's not doing some of the stuff that we saw at the end of the series. Like, yeah, like some of
yeah,
the
yes,
choices that she makes throughout.
it hurt
Yeah,
a lot. Some of her choices are anachronistic, but it also will be a
yeah,
less entertaining show. And so I
right.
think she has to do the balance of playing like a noir femme fatale, but also being a more active character. And I thought that she really
She's enthralling. Like
she's
in the
exactly like you
yes.
complete the thing that they need to do, and this is such a key thing to a noir movie is you need to immediately buy that the moment that Ben Riley steps in that club,
Hmm.
his she will make his life will change forever because she will like entrance him in a way.
Yes,
Like that first musical number, you have to be like, I get it.
you're paying
And
attention. Yeah.
and even though he knows she's in love with another woman, even though he knows it probably won't work out, even though he knows that she's like under the thumb of a mobster who's gonna kill, like I never doubt for a second that he's both like willing to throw his life away for her, and then by the betrayal feels like the most betrayed ever because he was so enthralled with her. And so I was really impressed with that performance. I thought he was great. But yeah, let's talk about the secretary and let's talk about Brendan Gleeson and let's talk about everyone. Like I said, there's one person who I want to talk about towards the end, but it's not a main character. So everyone else, I'm like, yeah, I think you got it.
Yeah. Let me see. What is her name? I'm going. Karen Rodriguez is
Mm-hmm.
Janet. Just the way that she plays off of Cage is just like fantastic. It's like you love their relationship because it's so playful and it's also caring in a way, like the classic. Like, I keep relying on you, but you keep failing me, but I'm still here for you
Mm-hmm.
regardless. Like, that's like that's a very old school trope that works in this one that I really enjoyed. And just like she's very magnetic, like a very bubbly personality, and I mean that in in the most positive way. Like she's just tremendous in this show, for sure. Yeah, Silvermane, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's just classic old school villain. Like, it's just, and he does such a great job of exhibiting that in some of the ways that he threatens Cat Hardy, kind of has her on the string, and the way that even with these powered folks, and he's just an old dude, but he has so much power, and you get and it's the presence to me that works so
Yeah.
well for him.
And he doesn't need to do any like crazy ultra violence. Like he's
Hmm.
willing to be violent at the drop of a hat, but he doesn't need to like, it's like he doesn't need to do the Tuco Salamanca randomly stomping a guy's head in to prove that
Yeah.
he's scary. He carries himself with a confidence that like he carries himself like a guy who can just get anyone killed at a moment's notice. And honestly, you believe it before he kills a single person in the show. Like
Hmm.
you know that this is a guy who can get shit done, and that his relaxed demeanor in times that should be very tense is the scariest thing about him. It means that he's actually not scared at all of these situations, and if he's not, then that's weird. That's bad for you.
There's a great the final episode where he has that back and forth with Riley when he kind of realizes that Riley is the spider, and he's kind of trying to coax him into revealing his identity. That is just a tremendous scene to me. Like that, the way that all plays out, and him and Cage going back and forth, and that, like that, it felt like two greats playing tennis. It's just so much fun for sure.
Yeah, I was really impressed with how much effort he gave. Brendan Gleeson obviously is one of our great actors, and yeah, this was just like he really played it. this is the thing that you could say about a lot of performances in this show and a lot of more thoughtful superhero media. But other than a couple lines about the word's powers, like he doesn't play it like he's a superhero thing at all.
Yeah, and I think it's important in making this thing work. But I think also when we talk about some of the villains, where we get Sandman, we get Tombstone. Obviously, Sandman plays a huge part of what goes on with Cat Hardy's story as she's trying to help him out, and then how Tombstone gets rolled into this as well. I found that both of those characters had a lot of depth to them, as
Yes.
opposed to just some like mindless villains who just kind of just go along and do something. It feels like they are in a very difficult situation that they don't really see any recourse out of, and which makes them do some pretty bad things. What did you think of how the villains were brought into this? Because I think you add these types of characters and you always wonder, like with Spider-Man villains, and especially in this type of thing, how does it work? But I find like what the best Spider-Man villains, you bring them in, have a little bit of something that you're a little empathetic to.
Yeah. Because obviously they changed the backstories for all the villains because they made it all in one thing, and I think that that's a good decision. I think
Hmm.
um, not worrying about. I think like once you make the decision, make it Ben Riley, and obviously there's an asterisk on that we'll talk about. But
Yes.
then I think that should and does give you free reign to change anything else you want about the canon. And I think that giving them that tragic backstory, and I think just like there's a version of this where Flint in particular is a much more one dimensional character.
Hmm.
And I think that the problem with that version is that you wonder why Kat is throwing her life away for him, right? Like
Yeah.
a big thing that happens in a lot of media is that you're introduced to a female character who is in love with a guy, and then your protagonist meets her and like also falls in love with her. And you're like, but why did she love that bad guy to begin with? You know what I mean? I call it the Bradley Cooper and Wedding Crashers problem. It's like we're supposed to like Rachel McAdams' character, but why on earth did she ever like Bradley Cooper to begin with? That's like the most egregious example. And so if Flynn Marco is a one-dimensional idiot, then you're like, you don't like Cat Grant then because you're like Cat Hardy, sorry.
Yeah.
You don't like Cat Hardy because she's why is she in love with this guy? But you feel way bad for him. He's clearly a guy who it's not like he's got a heart of gold completely. Like, he's a guy who's
Right.
willing to be violent and he knows what he's doing is, immoral. But he's also, as he's a guy who's sick and he's a veteran who doesn't have a lot of opportunities and it's the depression. And like, I like that they don't put like an extra tragic backstory on top. It's not
Right.
like, it's so sad that he has these powers that hurt him, and also he's only in the mob because his mom was sick. It's like no, like it's a tough situation. Same with Cat. Like you get in these situations and you keep getting deeper, and then like with Tombstone, obviously I think his was like less fleshed out just because he's the less important character in the show.
Right.
But also at the same time, like I think that the way that his experience is slightly different, obviously because he was a black man coming back. I like that they even mentioned the detail that the only reason that they knew that they were prisoners because they mentioned, which was true, that the army wasn't integrated in World War One. And so yeah, I think that a lot of that was unstated, but I do really like that how much they forefront that the powers are like a curse on them.
Yeah.
And I think so. I think in particular those two villains, and I'm tipping my hand at the performance I did not like. Those two villains, I think, were calibrated correctly and made for interesting characters.
Please let us talk about the villain that you didn't like, because he was interesting to say the
Okay,
least.
when they introduced Megalot and they
Yeah.
have the scene where he's fighting the spider,
Hmm.
I thought for that scene, because I was assuming that this was just a one-off villain that the spider would kill to reintroduce him as being a force again, right?
Right. Exactly.
And for that, he has the correct energy. Like overly boisterous, like
So boisterous.
the overly boisterous and cocky villain that the superhero kills in Act 1 of the movie. That's a type of character. That guy can't be in Act 3 of your movie. And
He is
I just
going for he is going for it in a way. It's kind of like when it reminds me of Ricky Davis just saying,
yeah.
"Hey man, I'm just going to keep shooting and there's nothing you can do about it."
And I think it really hurts a lot of the later scenes with him
Mhm.
because I don't know if they cut out backstory, something like that, but like I understand why Flint is conflicted. I understand why Tombstone is conflicted. I don't get what the fuck this guy's problem is. Like, no, I mean seriously, like I just don't actually understand why is he like. I get my vibe is like he's a failed actor or something because he's quoting
Yeah,
Shakespeare off the dome. He's obviously like a sadist, but like, and I think too is the fact that the show doesn't really remark that much on how, like, obviously they have a couple like this guy's crazy, yada yada, but I feel like especially when the fact you introduce him halfway through the show, and he ends up really being like the dilemma at the end of the show. His sadism is what causes the final battle is because he's crazy and yada yada. I just feel like they needed a much more grounded performance,
I
especially
agree.
because there's a way to make a character who has these powers who decides he's just going to use them for evil. There's a way to make that a character that is interesting and well rounded, and this guy I just was completely. Also, I think the accent was really bad. Like I felt like Jack Houston, played Flint, got the right level of like a slightly cartoonish, but like I was just really like I was really tired of the character by the end of it, and that was it made me mad because everyone else I'm like you're on the right wavelength. I'm here. It's like the accent you're doing is an SNL sketch about a noir movie accent is what you're doing.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and yeah, I'll reiterate it. There comes a time where you gotta shut up. Like it's like I just feel like he's talking way too much. Like you got Silvermane there, you got Flint there, you got Tombstone there, and this guy's just going on and 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 on, and it's a bit
And
much.
what does he have to say? What does he have to say?
It's bullshit. He's not saying anything substantial at all. It's I agree in that sense because despite the fact that in the final scene, which I will say, the last two episodes with the
Yeah.
action, I thought were
Mhm.
very underrated. Like they did a pretty damn good
Yeah.
job with the action scenes. But also, like as far as he's concerned, I do agree with your point. It just him in that spot is like it's just you're just putting the wrong person in that spot where you want to kind of have your big finale and close it out.
Yeah, like I just don't care about him versus Flint. Not that even because they made me care about Flint. Like I don't want Flint to die because I like Kat
Right.
and I don't want her to be sad. And so they did that successfully. But it was like, so wait, we know that you know that Silvermane is dead, okay, and that seemed to be Megawatt's whole thing that he was mad about was that he didn't want to be controlled. So
Yeah.
why is he still killing people? Why like? And once
What difference
again,
does it make at this point?
and
Yeah.
so I think that like there's a version once again of this that is that he's like someone who had like the capability of basically being a serial killer who happened to get powers and that's really bad, but that's
Mhm.
not how they play it. And I really do think that the over the top accent really hurts it. I think
Yeah.
that he like what I actually was thinking about almost what you want him to do, was thinking about the serial killer thing. Because I was thinking about this because, the other private eye in the first two episodes was played by Cameron Britton, who of course was in Mindhunter as Ed Kemper. I don't know if you recognized him.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I do.
And
Okay,
I
okay,
feel
I
like
remember.
if
Yeah,
if
yeah.
if the guy who has powers and is just killing people because he's like likes it has more, not obviously not that far, but that sort of energy, I'm more willing to believe it. But once again, the guy who's like quoting Shakespeare with a thick cartoonish New York accent, I'm just like that guy can't be, his death can't be the final battle one. With that being said, I really liked the finale and I thought the action of it was good. I was like, I just wish that I cared more about this character's fate.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely put a little bit of a damper on it. Not enough to where it didn't take away from my overall enjoyment of
Yeah,
the entirety of the show.
for sure.
But I definitely am on the same wavelength as you. What was your favorite episode?
Probably, I mean, since I binged it, I don't have them that separate in my mind. But excuse me, but I did really like the sixth one. I think you liked it as well.
Oh, I
That
love six. Like the whole experimentation and
yeah,
getting into it. I remember that was the lady who was the psychiatrist with Bucky and Sam in
yeah,
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That whole
yep,
deal.
Amy Aquino, Kino, whatever. You never know. Sometimes a Q is pronounced like a qua, and sometimes it's like a ka. You never know.
Yeah, I love that episode. Like when Riley starts hallucinating, Cage is just in his bag. Like at that point, like it is just he's going off in a way that's so great, and you got the spiders coming out of him, like the whole hallucination bit.
Mhm.
Like all of that was tremendous.
I mean, I'm looking at some quotes that Nick Cage has said about his performance, and this just really sums it up. That he was going for 70% Humphrey Bogart, 30% Bugs Bunny. Well, it's like that's why Nick Cage is the goat. Like that just like he says that, and normally that's like that sounds like nonsense, but I'm like, no, yeah, that is what he's doing. I think it really helped too that like
Mm-hmm.
when they leaned into the horror elements, like
Mm.
a thing that I saw a lot of people remarking on is the brief moments we see Man Spider are fucking terrifying.
Yes. Like that the way he bites him, like that I've never seen it done that particular way. And I just think it was extremely effective, that flashback. Actually,
Yeah.
all I would find all of Ben Riley's flashbacks were very effective in getting over his backstory.
And I think it really helps that deepfake technology has gotten better with like the de-aging,
Yeah.
and also they shoot it in a way that like they don't need to show him that much. I also think that you can tell with a lot of the actiony stuff that they shoot it from behind, so they don't need a 60-year-old in the cage doing it. Like they were very smart about it. They're very smart with a lot of the action. Obviously, it helps that Spider, the Spider is a masked character, so Nick Cage doesn't need to be doing any of it. But it really did look good, and for the stuff that he was doing that where he wasn't masked, like it really was well done, and I liked it too because the action was. It never felt like the action was disproportionate with the level of the show. Like
Yeah.
the final battle was just three characters fighting in like one block. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it never felt like it got outside of
and
itself.
because the show does not. The stakes of what's going on are just a couple people in like a mob war. Like obviously, yes, it has to do with the city, but like I don't. This doesn't need to be a portal in the sky type shit. You know?
Yeah. No, I think yeah, that was very effective as well. What did you think of Lamorne Morris,
Yeah, we
Robbie
haven't talked about it. I
Robertson?
felt bad because he's great. I think that I was the moment he came on screen. I'm like, he was really born to play like an ace reporter in the 30s. Like he wears the pencil on. You believe it. You're just like, yep, this is exactly who he is, and he's just a reliable guy at this point. He's a guy every time he shows up in something, you're like, you're going to deliver the goods. And yeah, he was a nice, solid presence to have because he is such a warm actor that he also helped humanize Ben a lot because
Yes.
it's you know the way that he related to him, because it can sometimes be hard to relate to a Nick Cage character because he doesn't play his character super humanistically. But because Lamar Morris is a very humanistic actor, it's like, okay, well, this guy's clearly a real human and he has actual affection and care for Ben. And so therefore we as an audience can imprint the same feeling on him.
The angel on Ben's shoulder, trying to like get him to the right path. Because one thing about Ben, hashtag wash agenda, like one of those, I ain't trying to get back in this. I ain't trying to do this. Like if I really got to do this, well, is it gonna be one last ride? But that's what I enjoyed about Robertson is like throughout. And then I think specifically in episode 7 where Ben has just completely lost it. That's another great scene at the bar when
Mhm.
he loses and beats up
Yeah.
everybody, and then Robertson comes and like talks to him, or like in regards to taking the antidote and all
I
of that
love the line
stuff.
where he's like, "If you were sure of it, you already taken it." Like he knows them. He knows them, and he's a good friend. We all would be really good. It would be great for all of us to have a friend like Robbie Robertson.
Yeah, and so I think like overall, when you look at Ben's character throughout, and then of course he talks about the love that he lost when she died in the in as they showed the flashback and stuff like that. It it fits like it's a really strong the Ben Riley character is a really strong one. I think they did a really good job of getting that over in the initial first 2 episodes, which makes it very easier to digest the rest of it as it goes along, even as sometimes it gets goofy. And then you have the kind of the end of the episode noir stuff where you get the kind of like cliffhanger stuff as you go into the next episode, which could throw you off a little bit. But I felt like all of it found a way to work, and it's a really well done show, well shot show. Um, and I would say even with watching it in color, the colors are just very
Yeah,
vibrant.
I heard that as well, and I think that a thing that people pointed out is that like if you actually look at old school black and white sets, the colors were often very vibrant because that's how you get things to show up. But I think they used a lot of great techniques with shadows, and there's an old school. This is not old school. This is a
Hmm.
anyone who spent any time in a film class is gonna roll their eyes that I'm saying that this is a novel, but this is a very common belief, and I actually think it's not even true psychologically, that in Western countries, when you make a scene with shadows, the character you're supposed to be sympathetic to, you put the shadow, I mean, you put the light on the left side of the face and the darkness on the right, and the character is supposed to be ambivalent about, you put the darkness on the right side of the left side of the face, because we read from left to right, and so if we see the left side lit up first, we relate to it more. I think that probably psychologically bullshit, but it's a thing that I've heard, and they do that a lot, especially in a lot of scenes with Kat. They do that, like I mean, Legion Lee has a perfectly round face and head, and with the shadows, they take advantage of that really well. Like that's the thing I noticed. Like they really, the cinematographer loves her, and I think that
Yeah,
I talk a lot on the show about it's not everything, but so much of someone's success in film media is does their face look good on camera,
yeah,
and I mean, something like Nick Cage is a super interesting face, it's super expressive, like it makes sense, but I think, especially for this, where so much of what she's doing is just through a look, in the close-ups they give her, and I think with the shadows and the light, with the black and white, like she's a really, really. I think that the symphony of everything going on. I really like that they use the tools of the
mm,
genre they're doing to better tell the story, as opposed to telling a story and having some like stylistic flares to do with the genre.
right. Using it in a way that obviously is not just a backdrop. It's something that um, is inclusive to the entire way that the story is being told, and again, it's just really effective at getting over not only the story but the characters itself. Like everybody who comes into this, I remember what's that the dude from The Wire who plays the mayor.
Oh yeah, yes, of course. And I mean, shouts to Mayor Alfred Morris. I tweeted the moment he came on screen and I learned his name. I tweeted a photo of the running back from the Washington football team, and it's just do you remember him, the A Train? Um,
Yes.
Also, I'll say this, he does not look like an Alfred Morris at all. It's just not. Yeah, Michael Kostroff is the actor's name. The man has played more like slimy lawyers. This obviously he plays that in The Wire, but like if you look at his like IMDb, it's just like attorney, attorney, attorney. But
He's so
he's really
good.
great. I mean, also, I'm so glad. Obviously, Winston, the guy, played by Lucas Haas,
Yeah,
which
he was good
I'm
too.
so
He's
happy that he showed up, because it means that I am even 20% justified to say the words "pussy posse" on the show. Because of course, Lucas Haas is most famous for being in Leonardo DiCaprio's "Pussy Posse." You know this.
yes,
Like,
yes, yes.
if Silvermane's main goon was played by J.R. Ferguson, or magician David Blaine, or Sarah Gilbert from Roseanne, I would be able to say it too. But it was Lucas Haas, or Kevin. No, what's his face? Kevin Connolly, I think, from Entourage, also was part of it.
Right.
But yeah, Lucas Haas, also honestly a guy who just looks like he's from the 30s in a lot of ways too. Like he wears
Yes.
that dumb hat really well.
Yes.
Um, Also, anytime I see him, I also think about the fact that he's in the what is it, the International Players Anthem music video.
yeah, he's he's really good. The way that he tried to pull that fast one on Ben in that scene, I believe at the end of
Yeah.
episode 3,
Mhm.
that was a lot of fun, and kind of the reversal when Silvermane kills him instead. It's just like a nice touch to his character. So yeah, overall, man, I gotta say, like if they ever decided to say if we could find a way to bring these characters back for another season, I'd give it another go
Yeah.
for another 8
And they
episodes.
definitely leave it open to it. I mean, they
Yeah,
have the characters on the board. I think that they're probably they definitely was a conscious choice. 'Cause I think if they were 100% sure it was just going to be a miniseries, I think you kill off either Cat or Flint.
agreed.
Uh, And so, also, if you're doing like a true noir, one of them has to die probably.
Mhm.
Um, but no, I mean, so much of noir is just about a guy who is already depressed, meets a hot woman, gets involved in something, and it ruins his life. And so, with that in mind, they nailed it. Like it is
To a T.
like I
Mhm.
like at the end that he doesn't reconcile with her, and damn well that he knows that she's right. Like he knows that he's an asshole, but he's an asshole. You know,
But she ain't do him right
no, of
either.
course not. Of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not. And also, he,
Mhm.
I think that I agree that she didn't do him right either, but he is not acting as though his feeling is you
Uh-huh.
broke my heart, not this was I'm reasonably mad at you, but you betrayed me. You know what I mean? Like
Fair,
he's
fair,
down
fair.
bad in a way that's different. Yeah, but I just was really impressed with a lot of it. I thought it was just really fun, and it was really I was just really impressed that they put the effort into it to do it.
The
Because
effort, yes,
yeah,
yes. The production of it, the way that they made it, like the actors all. This is what you felt, even even with Megawatt not working
yeah,
the way that you would want
yes,
it to, everybody felt engaged,
yes.
and that I think is very important to making a show that is entertaining, and you can watch these episodes, and once you're finished with it, you feel like, oh, okay, it's not. I would like to see these characters again. I would like to see this aesthetic and bringing it back. That would be a lot of fun.
And it really feels like Nick Cage set the tone because I think that
Yeah,
the moment he's taking the pastiche seriously, the moment that he's doing the voice, actually like really engaging in it, I think that makes everyone else want to because I've talked about actors. Actors love shit like this. Like actors love like I'm sure a lot of people who were offered this were probably like. I mean, I can easily imagine Brendan Gleeson being like, I don't want to do a superhero thing, but I've never had the opportunity to act in a black and white noir before. And so, like, yeah, if I get to do that and I have to say a couple lines about the spider, then fine. And they're all like really locked into it. They're locked into it like it's a serious movie that's aping this style. And so yeah, I just felt like it was really interesting, and like I was saying, it was just really nice to look at too. Because in the
yeah,
Discord, I put in a couple shots I really liked.
yeah. The visuals are
It
great.
really feels like a lot of TV these days doesn't bother to be visually interesting because it's like you're going to be on your phone while you're watching it. And the effort that they put in was really. I keep saying that, but because I just keep thinking about what I was thinking
Effort
about.
matters, and I think to your point, in a lot of television these days, and I think I can't remember if I think I was listening to I think I was listening to Bill Simmons talk about this with some of the TV shows going on now with Euphoria
Mhm.
and some of the other things that are going on. Joanna Robinson was also
Yeah,
discussing this too, and Chris Ryan. They were talking about how like the effort where you just kind of throw actors together in a show without and kind of making the plot very similar and all that stuff, and then not putting the entire effort. We're just gonna pay these actors and just hope it works,
yeah.
as opposed to actually producing and making it a production and the art and theater of it all. Like this feels like what that should be, especially a different type of way of telling a different version of a superhero stories, specifically a Spider-Man one.
So can we talk about the Ben Riley of it all?
Yes.
Because there was the explanation they gave why it was Ben Riley is because they wanted like it's a different take on the character. And I saw a lot of people point out, which I think is the correct answer, that legally Peter Parker can't drink and smoke on screen, so that's why.
Yeah.
I think that that's what it was, but I do like that they allude to maybe him also being Peter Parker.
Peter Parker. Yes, yes. That was a nice touch that you kind of hope that if there's a second season, there's something that to his past that would allude to that even further. But yes, that was a nice touch for sure.
Yeah, but also I'm thinking I like I was saying earlier though I do think that making it Ben Riley made the audience more primed to accept big
Hmm.
changes. Um, and I do love that all roads lead back to people trying to develop super soldiers. I love it. Hey, that's always the
As
best way to get
always.
powers. And I just love that like these Germans apparently were like throwing everything at the wall. It's like, okay, we gotta do a spider guy, we gotta do like a stone guy.
Yes.
Let's mix DNA with sand, I guess. And then I don't know what the fuck they're doing for Ogden, where it's like, let's give old people blood. Like I don't understand what was going on
Yeah,
there.
that what was happening there? That was crazy.
But the thing also is that like I mean it's because obviously the timeline it has to be the World War One Germans. Now if
Right.
you said the Nazis were doing that, I'm like, yeah, they were on crystal meth. I would believe that they were doing anything. Like truly, like but
They on some shit,
yeah,
man.
they were really they were on some real bullshit. It's like I mixed the blood so he's now gonna be old man. But no, I think that you just believe it. And I think once again that the fact that they actually did they went through the effort of making the scene where they find the POWs like actually horrifying. Like it's
Yeah.
not like a cartoon. Like it's fucked up. Like and the pretty immoral decision that Ben makes to burn the place. Like he's killing all those people.
It's dark, man.
Yeah,
Like that episode is real dark. That when you get into the nitty gritty of it all, that you kind of felt that, and you kind of understood why to a degree that a lot of that stuff haunted him after the
yeah,
fact. So then when he was under the gun, at that facility,
mhm,
like you kind of felt his panic and his own fear when he was being experimented on with
mhm,
that situation as well.
yeah,
So once again, Nick Cage was on, he was activated, he was ready to go, and it made for a very, very good show. So Spider Noir, we'll see if there's a season two, but I feel like this is a nice pit stop away from some of the stuff that we normally cover because, again, as we were saying, it feels great that you get a different show with a little bit more pizzazz and a little bit more effort in ways that you wouldn't expect. And especially, it just felt different, and we like different around here
mhm,
where we could get it every now and then. But guys, it's June, so we're waiting for X-Men '97. That's July 1st. At the end of the month, there's Supergirl. I just got my IMAX ticket today. We will be out here that first weekend. I'm
mhm,
looking forward to that movie. But there's a lot of different things going on as far as Marvel is concerned and other things. So we will try and keep you abreast of the situation as we go this month. We we always do. We find stuff
yeah,
to talk about. And this is also a heavy movie month too.
yeah,
So there's a movie next week that
yeah,
I'm about to do the negotiations so I can get
yeah.
a opening night for
Because
disclosure
I'm
day.
doing the stream on Saturday, I didn't want to do it on Friday night, and so I got like right after work tickets on Thursday at the
Mm,
Lincoln Center IMAX. Because I mean, the moment I saw X Files meets the Bible, I'm like, okay, well, I
yeah, the
mean,
reviews
I was
are.
gonna I was gonna pay a lot of money to see this already, but don't twist my arm. Like, if you insist, X Files meets the Bible, yeah, I'm gonna be there.
I have a Regal right by my job,
Hmm.
and I think that is the game plan currently. I
Yeah.
got I got to do my
Of
negotiations with the
course.
wife, but if I'm able to Thursday after work,
Yeah.
we in there for
Yeah.
disclosure day.
Very exciting. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, so it may be one of them things that we got to talk about
Yeah,
on the Patreon.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a very exciting movie month. Honestly, it's a great movie summer. Like it's gonna be, it's
like it's
already
movie
great.
after yeah. I'm trying to figure out how the hell I gotta see. Even though they keep saying the box office numbers ain't gonna hit with it, some good things are coming out about He
I'm
Man.
a,
They
I
say,
already, I already got my ticket for tomorrow afternoon, baby. I got a
"Oh, shout
ticket.
out to you,
I got a
man!
ticket where I can go to it after work and before the Knicks game. I mean,
Salute to you,
because the
man."
thing about it is that, like, I was like, why do they make this movie? And then I'm like, oh, it's directed by Travis Knight, who did Bumblebee and all those stop motion movies. I'm like, that actually sounds like not a bad idea. And sure enough, it's not apparently not bad. So I mean, shit, I'll be
But
there.
June and July, and then of course the big hubbub in the past 2 days has been about the Odyssey and the IMAX,
Yeah.
and everybody got to go to the
Honestly,
home theaters.
I don't have a AMC stubs because I live near a Regal, so I just am wait. I'll probably just see it in like week 2 on IMAX, and I'll just see it regular for starting off because fine, you won. You know what I mean? I get. I don't. I didn't. I missed it, and so it is what it
We in
is.
there, one way or another. We in there regardless for the
Yeah.
Odyssey. That's
Also,
another
I
one.
was not planning on only seeing it once in theaters, so like I'm not too upset if I don't see IMAX the first time.
Man, I remember when I went to go see Avatar this past December, and they showed that little 5 minute clip. I was like, "Whoa, boy! Ooh, I can't
Yeah.
wait! Let's go!" And so movies are in a good place right now, and
Yep.
it's
Hey, and
not
I don't know if you
just your
saw it
tentpole.
last May. I mean, this May was the first month since COVID that there was $1 billion in box office for a month. So
Oh
we're
shit!
back, and
Okay,
that was with not like it was Michael and Devils Are Prada were the two big movies. It wasn't with superhero shit. It wasn't with I mean, also like upset as a box office nerd. What Obsession is doing is the most unprecedented box office thing that has ever happened in my adult life, and I don't say that with that not no qualifiers. Like since I've been an adult, it is the most astonishing thing that's happened at the box office.
true story. Week before last, I was trying to go see. I was telling my wife, "Yo, let's try and go see this movie." It was on a
Yeah.
Sunday. and our window was such and such. I went in, the shit was sold
Yeah.
out.
Like
Like,
literally it is the first movie ever. Because a lot, it's because it has for the first 3 weekends it made more money each weekend
mhm,
than the last, which is a thing that happens occasionally. But when it's a movie that opens small on not that many screens and then widens out, it's the first movie that opened at 15 million and still increased the first 2 weekend, the second and third
it's
weekends.
nuts.
So like because it didn't open small, it was a $700,000 movie that made $15 million. It's like or $20 million its first weekend and still grew in weekends 2 and 3. Like and it's still probably gonna make like $30 million again in weekend 4. Like
I know. Like
it's
it's upwards to getting close to 300 million
yeah,
overall, right?
it's gonna end probably around over $200 million domestically for a
Incredible.
movie that cost $700,000. I mean, shit, man. Like I'm feeling as good about the state of movies as I have in a very long time.
Yeah, a lot of
Um,
folks going to see Backrooms too.
yeah.
Like that's yeah.
Backrooms did really well. I mean, I enjoyed Backrooms. Now, I don't know how I feel about the fact that the guy who made it. I saw in an article about how he started on YouTube. They mentioned that he was born after YouTube launched, which I don't know how I felt about that.
Oh
Uh,
my god.
because he legally still can't drink. But
What?
yeah, he's 20.
What the fuck? Holy
But
shit.
also, like, I mean, good for him. Good for
Yeah,
him.
no, seriously, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Incredibly impressive.
Yeah. So like, shit's good. I've been holding the line. I'm not. Some of these people have been dooming about the state of movies, and I'm like, nobody's got to hold the line. We'll be back, and sure enough, shit is. I mean, some of the estimates. Like, I feel like this summer, because I think people are getting back in the habit of it, and people realize, like, oh right, it's actually just more fun to see a movie in theaters with other people. Like, it just is.
Yeah.
It's just a better experience. Like, full stop. It just is.
Yeah, no, 1000%. That's how like I'm endeavoring. So, I mean, now with you saying what you said about He-Man, I mean, this yeah, I think it's right there. We gonna see what we do about this weekend too.
No. I mean,
Uh,
once again, if there's a good chance
I'm trying to see
it's just
He-Man.
like pretty
I was
good.
trying to see He-Man originally anyway.
Yeah, I mean, but I've heard it's just a lot of fun, and like that's what
Because
you want out of
when
that.
they saying Jared Leto is cooking in this too, I'm like, okay, all right, I gotta
Yeah,
see what the hubbub is about.
I've heard that, and because I remember when he was cast, I'm like, God damn it, why are they doing this?
I
And
know.
then it's like, but also it's like, okay, he's capable of giving interesting performances,
Yes.
and I'm like, sure enough, I mean, yeah, I was super skeptical. I was skeptical about the casting of Nicholas Galitzine because I'm like, why did they cast the guy who has to go on like 7 rounds of HGH instead of just 4? But like, I'm I'm in, and I'll report back about it at
Yes.
assuming that there's 20 minutes of commercials and it's a 2 hour 10 minute movie. I'll report back
Uh-huh.
at 6:10 tomorrow. Yeah, and
Nice.
anyway, we've been rambling
Yes.
about the state of movies as we want to do.
Wonderful, man. Wonderful, man. So, like, if you're a Patreon, like, stay tuned for that Disclosure Day. I feel like if I'm making the effort to find ways to go see it on days that I don't have time to see
Yeah,
that tells you it's a pretty big deal. That is a movie I really want to see. So,
yeah,
if you're Patreon, stay tuned for that. We'll try and find a way to have conversations about that, plus everything that we're doing behind the wall. Otherwise, whether it's wrestling, rush hour, all of the stuff that we got going on, subscriber mailbag, of course, you can get all that at $3. And on the main feed, we'll figure it out as we go this month, as we get ready for X-Men '97, Comic Con, Spider-Man: Brand New Day. It's gonna be coming fast, and then as we get closer to the rest of the summer, the Doomsday talk is only gonna increase as we get closer to that movie. So a lot of fun stuff coming this summer overall from this podcast. Jake, where can we find you, my friend?
you can follow me at the J Christie on Twitter and TikTok, and at J Christie on Blue Sky. As I alluded to, I'm doing another one of my 24-hour streams, raising money for the National Immigrant Justice Center, which is a group that gives legal representation to immigrants facing deportation and detention. I don't need to spell out why that is an important group these days. And what I'm doing is a
Mm-hmm.
stream where I'm watching 24 hours of bad movies. So you donate to that. There's a link in my bio. It's actually just tinyurl.com/Jake Stream donation. I got a bespoke link. Donate to that, and then just email me or DM me what movie you want to put it towards an estimated movie under 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. Some examples of ones that people have donated for: White Chicks, Morbius.
Mm-hmm.
Both my brothers donated for the big boy from Outcast golf comedy Who's Your Caddy, stuff like that.
Yeah, I am endeavoring to figure out what movie I'm going to choose for this, but I will
Oh, I
have
forgot to
some.
mention too. The next giveaway that's up right now is if you donate before Sunday at midnight, you are entered to win a signed copy of any Dragonfly Jones tweet of your choosing. So I don't.
Nah.
So you see, I don't know if that's something you would like,
I mean,
but
shout out to Dragonfly Jones. That's our guy.
yeah,
Yeah,
you can get
salute to
there's a couple
Tyler.
ones. You can get the one about the back of Drogon's throat. You can get the one about Jason Whitlock seeing LeBron on TV. You know the one. That's probably his best tweet in my opinion.
Yes, that is.
Yeah.
That is absolutely tremendous. Yeah, make sure you donate to that cause. I'm getting in on this
Yep.
soon.
Yep.
I got
I'm
to
like
figure out what
40% to
movie.
my total goal. So if I can hit my goal is 5K, which is higher than I've ever gotten before, but I think I can get
Salute.
there. If you know, if anyone, if you're listening and you can throw a few bucks, like don't be like, do me a favor because I am someone who puts stuff off and then I forget. Don't be like, okay, I'll get to that in a second, then forget. Just get on the site, put $10 in there, and you're good to go, and we're good. Just if you can, I would appreciate it.
Important cause. Make sure that you donate and for something really good and really special, and let's help some people out in a difficult situation because as you know that this country be funky with a lot of different things. As far as I'm concerned, you can follow me on Twitter at Anthony Canton _3. Follow me on TikTok at Anthony Canton 1, covering all of the Knicks games. Obviously, last night was crazy. What else is new? The Knicks have been on a crazy run, continue to be on a crazy run. 3 wins away from a championship. And I get repeatedly, the more that they win and the closer that they get to this, the heel turn is coming, folks. Like people are not going to be like, especially some people, some friends of ours who made some comments to me during the first round of the playoffs,
Oh,
which I said, all I said was after 2-1 to be continued. And if it goes this way, I'm coming back. That's all I got to say. There's gonna be more to discuss, but Spurs Knicks, I'll be covering the entire thing, recaps and all of that good stuff. And of course, if you're watching, YouTube channel, like, comment, and subscribe. As I mentioned, the Patreon, we're gonna have some stuff hopping there. And appreciate everybody for watching and listening. For Jake Christie, I'm Anthony Canton III. This has been Marvel Cinematic University, and we will talk to you next time.